The Black Death had swept through Florence like a scythe through wheat, leaving behind a city scarred by loss and haunted by fear. The once vibrant streets were now eerily quiet, the laughter of children replaced by the mournful tolling of church bells. In the shadow of death, piety and suspicion flourished, twisting the hearts of men. Within the cloistered walls of the Benedictine convent of Santa Maria, life continued its measured rhythm, a sanctuary against the chaos outside. Sister Agnes, her face etched with a quiet resolve, found solace in the meticulous work of transcription, each stroke of her quill a prayer against the encroaching darkness. Nearby, in his workshop, Brother Thomas, the monastery's illuminator, sought refuge in the creation of beauty. His skilled hands brought to life the stories of the saints, his vibrant colors a defiant act against the monochrome palette of death. Sister Agnes approached Brother Thomas, a frown creasing her brow. She carried with her a matter that troubled her, a subtle dissonance that had disrupted the harmony of her faith. Brother Thomas looked up from his work, his weathered face a map of countless hours spent in contemplation and creation. He knew Sister Agnes well, respected her sharp mind and unwavering devotion. The source of Agnes's unease was a new altarpiece, recently commissioned by the Medici family. The painting, intended to inspire piety and awe, contained a subtle detail that had caught her attention, a symbol seemingly innocuous, yet unsettlingly out of place. "Do you see it, Brother Thomas?" Sister Agnes asked, her voice hushed. She traced the outline of the symbol on a hastily drawn sketch. "The caduceus, intertwined with a serpent, it is not a Christian symbol." Brother Thomas studied the drawing, his brow furrowed. He recognized the caduceus, a symbol of Hermes, the Greek messenger god, often associated with alchemy and forbidden knowledge. Its presence in a religious painting was indeed perplexing. They retreated to the monastery library, a sanctuary of forgotten knowledge. By the flickering light of oil lamps, they pored over ancient texts, searching for any mention of the symbol and its possible meaning. Hours passed, marked only by the rustling of parchment and the hushed whispers of Latin. Finally, they found a clue, a similar symbol in an obscure alchemical treatise, its meaning shrouded in allegory and esoteric language. "This is not merely an artistic flourish, brother," Sister Agnes said, her voice barely a whisper. "This is something more, something hidden." A chilling realization settled upon them. The symbol in the altarpiece was not a random anomaly, but a deliberate act, a coded message hidden in plain sight. And as they gazed out at the sleeping city, they knew that their quest to decipher its meaning would lead them down a dangerous path, into the heart of Florence's darkest secrets. The altarpiece dominated the small chapel, a vibrant splash of color against the gray stone walls. Commissioned to inspire faith in a city reeling from plague, it depicted the Virgin Mary surrounded by saints. Yet, Sister Agnes felt a prickle of unease, a disharmony that defied the apparent piety. Brother Thomas, summoned for his expertise, traced the Virgin's robes with a practiced eye. He knew the traditional pigments and techniques, the symbolism woven into every fold and hue. But something was amiss, a subtle deviation from the established canon. In the cool silence of the scriptorium, Sister Agnes delved into illuminated manuscripts, comparing the altarpiece's imagery with established iconography. She sought a logical explanation, a precedent for the unsettling feeling that gnawed at her. Brother Thomas, amidst the tools of his trade, meticulously recreated the pigments used in the altarpiece. He examined their composition, their source, searching for anything unusual. The artist, a known follower of classical techniques, had used the finest materials, but something felt deliberately misleading. "The pomegranate," Sister Agnes said, her voice barely a whisper. "It is a symbol of resurrection, yes, but also of forbidden knowledge of secrets." Brother Thomas nodded grimly. The placement, the way it was held, suggested more than simple religious devotion. Brother Thomas transcribed the painting, searching for geometrical anomalies, hidden ratios, anything that could point to a deliberate encoding. The artist was known for his adherence to classical ideals, the golden ratio, but here, those rules seemed twisted, subverted. Giovanni de' Medici, the patron of the altarpiece, arrived unexpectedly. He was a young man, caught between the weight of his family's legacy and a thirst for knowledge that bordered on dangerous curiosity. The unfinished artwork captivated him. He pressed the artist for explanations, challenging the conventional interpretations. He pointed to the unusual positioning of a saint's hand, the obscured depiction of a biblical scene. He seemed to sense the hidden depths. Sister Agnes and Brother Thomas watched from the shadows, their unease growing. Giovanni's interest was not that of a simple patron. He was drawn to something more, something dangerous. Back in his workshop, Brother Thomas uncovered a deliberate distortion of the golden ratio, a series of skewed proportions that formed a subtle but distinct pattern. It was a cipher, a code hidden within the very structure of the painting. In the monastery library, Sister Agnes connected the pomegranate, the skewed ratios, and other seemingly minor details to a heretical sect condemned centuries ago. The symbols were not merely artistic flourishes. They were a declaration of forbidden beliefs. Giovanni de' Medici sought them out in the library. "I believe," he said, his voice low, "that the altarpiece holds a secret, and I need your help to uncover it." Sister Agnes traced the lines of the pomegranate, the inverted lily. "These symbols," she said, her voice barely a whisper, "they are not merely decorative, they are deliberate." Brother Thomas, his brow furrowed, adjusted his spectacles. "I recognize the style, the brushstrokes. It is the work of Maestro Lorenzo, a relatively unknown artist commissioned by a minor noble family." Giovanni de' Medici, ever pragmatic, interjected, "Then let us find Maestro Lorenzo. Time is of the essence." The whispers grow louder, the inquisitors more zealous. They found Lorenzo's workshop nestled in a less reputable quarter of Florence. The air hung thick with the smells of turpentine and pigment. Maestro Lorenzo, a pale and anxious man, stammered a greeting. "Lord Medici, I am but a humble artist." "The altarpiece, Maestro," Giovanni pressed, his voice edged with steel. "The symbols, explain them." Lorenzo hesitated, his eyes darting nervously around the room. I was instructed. I do not know their meaning." Sister Agnes stepped forward. "But you know who instructed you, Maestro. Tell us." He spoke in a hushed tone. "The Societas Occulta. They commission artwork using symbols known only to them. They meet in secret, whispering ideas contrary to the Church." Brother Thomas's eyes widened. A secret society challenging the Church. This was far more dangerous than they had imagined. "Do you know where they meet?" Giovanni demanded, his voice low. Lorenzo shook his head, fear evident in his eyes. "But they gave me this," Lorenzo whispered, extending a small, rolled parchment. "A clue, to ensure I included the symbols correctly. It speaks of the serpent's eye, where shadows dance at noon." The scriptorium, usually a place of quiet industry, felt different today, charged with a nervous energy. Sister Agnes ran a gloved hand along the spines of the ancient books, the weight of centuries pressing down on her. The answers, she believed, lay hidden within these forgotten pages. Brother Thomas, his brow furrowed in concentration, meticulously turned the brittle pages of an illuminated manuscript. The vellum crackled softly with each movement, a testament to its age. He searched for any marginalia, any hidden notes that might provide a clue. "Look here, Thomas," Sister Agnes whispered, her finger tracing a line of text. "This passage from Plato's Republic, it speaks of ideal forms, a world beyond our perception. Could it be linked to the symbols we saw in the painting?" Brother Thomas slowly reread the passage. "The shadows on the wall are mistaken for truth," Plato's allegory. He questions the very nature of reality, suggesting our senses deceive us. Dangerous ideas indeed. Sister Agnes stopped pacing. "The Church teaches that truth is revealed through faith and Scripture. But these artists, they seem to be suggesting that truth can be found through reason and observation, through questioning the world around us." I found more. Texts by Averroes and, surprisingly, some fragments attributed to Hypatia, all deemed heretical by the Church, hidden away in the deepest recesses of the library. Giovanni de' Medici entered the scriptorium, his face etched with concern. "Agnes, Thomas, I heard rumors, whispers of forbidden texts. What have you found?" "Giovanni, we've uncovered texts that challenge the very foundations of the Church's teachings. Ideas that question the nature of God, of reality itself." Giovanni hesitated, then reached for the book. He knew the risks. Merely possessing such texts could be considered heresy, but his curiosity, his thirst for knowledge, outweighed his fear. "And this symbol, Giovanni," Brother Thomas said, pointing to an inverted triangle enclosed within a circle, "it appears repeatedly in these texts. A symbol of alchemy, representing the union of opposing forces. It suggests a belief in transformation, in the power to change the very nature of things." Giovanni felt a shiver run down his spine. The symbols in the paintings, the forbidden texts, the radical ideas, it was all coming together, forming a dangerous picture. "We are treading on dangerous ground," Sister Agnes said softly. "If the Church discovers what we know," the unspoken threat hung heavy in the air. The hunt for truth had just become a fight for survival. Giovanni, ever the charismatic Medici, secured access. The doors to the family's private collection swung open, revealing a trove of Renaissance masterpieces. He regarded Sister Agnes and Brother Thomas with a mixture of pride and anticipation. The adoration of the Magi, a vibrant canvas teeming with detail, was their first subject. Sister Agnes, ever meticulous, began her examination, her gaze sweeping across the figures, searching for the telltale signs of hidden symbolism. Brother Thomas, armed with his magnifying glass, focused on the intricate details of the Magi's gifts. He sought anomalies in the craftsmanship, subtle deviations that might betray a hidden meaning. Giovanni watched them, his initial enthusiasm tempered by a growing unease. He began to question the wisdom of exposing his family's treasures to such scrutiny. "The Ouroboros," Sister Agnes announced, her voice hushed. "A symbol of eternity and cyclical renewal, but also of Gnostic philosophies frowned upon by the Church." Brother Thomas nodded, his expression grave. "It is a bold statement hidden in plain sight. This confirms our suspicions. There is a deliberate pattern here." Giovanni's face paled. "Gnostic philosophies, heresy. Are you suggesting my family has commissioned works that undermine the Church?" Sister Agnes remained composed. "We are suggesting that the artists, perhaps commissioned by someone with influence, have used these paintings to express ideas that are not entirely aligned with orthodox beliefs. Brother Thomas moved on to the Annunciation. Let us examine this one. The angel's lilies, the virgin's posture, such details can often conceal more than they reveal. Giovanni hesitated, torn between his intellectual curiosity and his loyalty to his family's reputation. The weight of his lineage began to bear down on him. "Look closely," Sister Agnes urged, pointing to a hidden detail in the Virgin's tapestry. The Vitruvian Man, subtly woven into the fabric, a celebration of humanism, of man as the measure of all things, a concept that challenges the divine order. Giovanni closed his eyes, the weight of the implications pressing down on him. The Medici name, his family's legacy, his own beliefs, all were caught in a precarious balance. He had opened Pandora's box, and he wasn't sure he could control what would emerge. The weight of their discoveries pressed heavily on Sister Agnes. Each symbol deciphered, each hidden meaning revealed, brought them closer to a truth that could shatter the foundations of their world. But the deeper they delved, the more exposed they became. Brother Thomas, lost in his scholarship, remained oblivious to the subtle shift in atmosphere. He felt a growing unease, a sense of being watched, but dismissed it as the product of sleepless nights and mounting anxiety. Giovanni, with his keen understanding of Florentine politics, recognized the signs. The Inquisition's presence was growing bolder, their scrutiny more intense. He knew they were walking a dangerous path, one that could lead to imprisonment or worse. The Inquisitor's visit sent a ripple of fear through the monastery. Father Domenico, known for his unwavering zeal and ruthless pursuit of heresy, made veiled inquiries about the unusual amount of time Brother Thomas spent in the library, and Sister Agnes's unconventional interest in art. Unbeknownst to Brother Thomas, he was now under constant surveillance. The Inquisitor's men, silent and watchful, tracked his every move, their presence a suffocating reminder of the danger they faced. "We must be more careful," Giovanni warned, his voice low. "The Inquisitor suspects something. He asked my father about our interests. He knows we've been examining the Medici art collection more closely." The raid on the scriptorium was swift and brutal. The inquisitorial guards, their faces grim and unyielding, ransacked the room, confiscating books and scrolls, including the very text Brother Thomas had been meticulously copying. Sister Agnes watched in horror as they dragged Brother Thomas away, his protests swallowed by the cold stone walls of the monastery. She knew this was just the beginning. Giovanni confronted his father, Cosimo, demanding answers. He accused the elder Medici of allowing the Inquisition to run rampant, of sacrificing intellectual curiosity for political expediency. With Brother Thomas imprisoned, Sister Agnes and Giovanni were forced to operate in the shadows. They met in the catacombs beneath Florence, a labyrinthine world of forgotten souls and hidden passages. In the Inquisitor's chambers, the pieces were falling into place. He saw the pattern, the connection between the symbols in the paintings and the forbidden texts. He knew he was on the verge of exposing a dangerous heresy. Knowing time was running out, Sister Agnes and Giovanni prepared to delve even deeper into the heart of the conspiracy. The hidden passage awaited, promising both answers and unimaginable danger. Their quest for truth had become a desperate race against the Inquisitor's relentless pursuit. The air in the scriptorium hung thick with the scent of old parchment and beeswax. Sister Agnes, her brow furrowed in concentration, meticulously examined the codex. Its pages, filled with dense script and intricate diagrams, held the key they sought, a Rosetta Stone to the artist's symbolic language. Brother Thomas peered over her shoulder, his breath warm against her ear. "Look here, sister," he murmured, pointing to a passage with the tip of his magnifying glass. "This section on celestial mechanics, it aligns perfectly with the symbols in the Annunciation." The pieces were beginning to fit together. Giovanni stood by the window, the sprawling cityscape of Florence laid out before him. He was increasingly caught between his loyalty to his family and the intellectual allure of the secret society's ideas. "What does it say about the Church's authority?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. "It challenges the very foundations," Sister Agnes replied, her voice firm. "The Codex speaks of a universe governed by natural laws, not divine intervention. They are promoting the pursuit of knowledge through reason and observation." The implications were staggering. Brother Thomas meticulously copied the symbol, his hand moving with practiced ease. They believed that true understanding of God could be achieved through the study of His creation, he explained. Science and faith were not mutually exclusive, but complementary paths to enlightenment. Giovanni paced the room, absorbing the weight of their discoveries. "But the Church teaches that all knowledge comes from God through the Scriptures," he argued. "To suggest otherwise, it's heresy." Sister Agnes closed the Codex with a soft thud. "Their manifesto goes further," she said quietly. "They advocate for a more personal relationship with God, free from the rigid dogma and intermediaries of the Church." Brother Thomas sighed, running a hand through his thinning hair. "They are challenging the Church's very power structure," he said, "and in doing so they are risking everything." Giovanni looked from Sister Agnes to Brother Thomas, his mind racing. "If this codex is discovered, if the Church finds out about their heretical beliefs," he trailed off, the unspoken consequences hanging heavy in the air. The codex lay open on the table, its secrets laid bare. It was a dangerous weapon, capable of shattering the fragile peace of Florence and challenging the authority of the Church. The weight of that power settled heavily upon them. Sister Agnes met Giovanni's gaze. "The question is, what do we do with this knowledge?" she asked, her voice soft but unwavering. "Can we, in good conscience, allow these radical ideas to be suppressed?" Brother Thomas stared into the flickering candlelight, the question echoing in his mind. The path ahead was fraught with danger, but the pursuit of truth had always demanded a price. The fate of Florence, and perhaps even the Church, hung in the balance. The whispers had begun to circulate, like a chilling draft seeping through the monastery walls. An inquisitor had arrived in Florence, his gaze fixed on rooting out heresy. Fear coiled in Agnes's stomach, a cold premonition of the storm gathering on the horizon. Thomas, ever the pragmatist, was already charting a course of action. He believed the society's members were being monitored, their movements tracked. The map served as a grim reminder of their vulnerability, each street a potential trap. Giovanni felt the tightening grip of his family's expectations, the weight of their legacy pressing down on him. He knew he stood at a crossroads, forced to choose between his birthright and the unsettling truths he was beginning to uncover. The Inquisitor's methods were brutal, designed to extract confessions through fear and pain. His presence cast a long shadow over Florence, stifling the city's vibrant intellectual life. In the hushed depths of the catacombs, Agnes and Thomas planned their next move. They knew time was running out, that the Inquisitor was closing in on the society. Risking everything, Giovanni arranged a clandestine meeting with a key member of the society. He had information to share, a warning that could save them from the Inquisitor's clutches. The society was in turmoil, divided over how to respond to the Inquisitor's threat. Some advocated for dispersal, others for open defiance. The debate raged, fueled by fear and desperation. Thomas, his voice firm despite the tremor in his hands, argued that they could not abandon their principles. The symbols they had encoded in the art were a testament to their beliefs, a legacy they had a duty to protect. Agnes watched Giovanni, sensing the turmoil within him. She knew that his decision would determine the fate of the society, perhaps even the future of Florence. Giovanni made his choice. He confronted his family, laying bare the secrets he had uncovered, the radical ideas encoded within the art they had commissioned. The air crackled with tension, the fate of the society hanging in the balance. The Inquisitor struck, his forces descending upon the underground chamber. The confrontation had begun, a clash between faith and reason, dogma and intellectual freedom. Agnes stood firm, a beacon of defiance amidst the storm. The secrets were safe with her, encoded in the illuminated manuscripts, ready to be passed down through the ages. The fight for truth had only just begun. The Medici Palace, usually a beacon of power and wealth, felt like a gilded cage tonight. The Inquisitor's presence had cast a pall over Florence, and the air crackled with fear. Sister Agnes knew they were running out of time. Beneath the bustling city, in a secret chamber known only to a select few, Brother Thomas pleaded with Giovanni. The time for secrecy was over. The society needed to be warned. Giovanni, torn between loyalty to his family and the ideals of the Renaissance, wrestled with his conscience. Could he betray his lineage to protect a group of artists and intellectuals? The decision weighed heavily on him. The Inquisition's arrival was swift and brutal. The monastery, once a sanctuary, was now a scene of terror. The Inquisitor was determined to eradicate any hint of heresy. Sister Agnes, willing to sacrifice herself to protect the others, faced the Inquisitor. She knew the risks, but she couldn't stand by and watch the truth be destroyed. While Sister Agnes faced the Inquisitor, Brother Thomas raced against time, meticulously copying the illuminated manuscripts. He knew that even if they couldn't save the society, they could preserve its knowledge. Giovanni, using his power and connections, played a dangerous game. He stalled the Inquisitor, buying time for the society to disperse and the knowledge to be preserved. With heavy hearts, the members of the society made the agonizing decision to destroy their work. They knew it was the only way to protect themselves and ensure the survival of their ideals. Sister Agnes, falsely accused of heresy, awaited her judgment. She had accepted her fate, knowing that her sacrifice had bought time for the others. Brother Thomas, carrying the weight of the society's secrets, fled Florence. He knew that the future of the Renaissance depended on him preserving the knowledge encoded in the manuscripts. Giovanni watched as Brother Thomas disappeared into the horizon. He had played his part, protecting the flame of knowledge while navigating the treacherous currents of Florentine politics. The price of truth had been high, but the ideals of the Renaissance had survived. Hidden away, the illuminated secrets awaited a new era, a time when the world would be ready to embrace the light of knowledge without fear. The dust had settled both literally and figuratively. The Inquisitor was gone, his zealous fervor thwarted for now. But the echoes of his accusations, the threat he represented, lingered in the monastery like a persistent chill. Brother Thomas, ever the pragmatist, focused on preserving the knowledge within the Codex. He labored tirelessly, knowing that the original, too dangerous to keep intact, had to be carefully dispersed, its secrets scattered like seeds in fertile ground. Giovanni, his eyes open to the currents of change swirling beneath the surface of Florentine society, understood the fragility of their victory. The forces of dogma were powerful, ever vigilant, and their reprieve was likely temporary. Together, Sister Agnes and Giovanni planned the dissemination of the Codex's wisdom. They identified trusted scholars, artists, and patrons, individuals with the courage and discretion to safeguard the heretical knowledge for future generations. Brother Thomas, with his earthy wisdom, understood the importance of physical preservation. He buried fragments of the Codex in hidden locations, knowing that the land itself could be a guardian of secrets. Giovanni, using his influence and wealth, subtly integrated the Codex's ideas into the Florentine art scene, ensuring that the seeds of Renaissance humanism continued to blossom, even if disguised beneath layers of religious iconography. Sister Agnes, within the confines of the monastery, became a quiet advocate for intellectual curiosity. She nurtured the minds of young novices, encouraging them to question, to explore, to seek truth beyond the boundaries of dogma. Brother Thomas passed on his skills to a new generation of illuminators, instilling in them a deep appreciation for the power of symbolism and the responsibility that came with wielding such artistic influence. Giovanni, using his position within the Medici family, created spaces for open dialogue and intellectual exchange, nurturing the burgeoning Renaissance spirit that would transform Florence into the cultural heart of Europe. Years later, Sister Agnes stood before a newly unveiled altarpiece. In the delicate folds of a robe, in the arrangement of flowers, she recognized the subtle echoes of the Codex, a silent testament to the enduring power of ideas. Time passed, and Brother Thomas, his hands gnarled with age, continued to illuminate manuscripts, passing on the traditions and the hidden knowledge to a new generation. The seeds they had planted were beginning to sprout. Giovanni, now a respected statesman, watched Florence blossom into a beacon of art, science, and humanism. The Black Death had left its scars, but from the ashes of despair, a new era had risen, fueled by the courage of those who dared to question, to seek, and to illuminate the secrets of the world.